I'm Tom Grossi, a New York City comedian and diehard Green Bay Packers fan for almost 20 years.
It is caught for the win. Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. A game ender for the Packers.
In 2015, I created a podcast where each week I talk to fans from opposing teams to share their story and to get yelled at for about an hour for being a Packers fan. Last year, I met amazing people and went to amazing places. And this year, I'm ready to do it all over again.
Make no mistake about it, I will be remembered as a Packer.
Enjoy the show. Grossi Posse Packer Nation, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't need to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. Today we have a little bit of an interesting show. Of course, we're coming off a big win against the Detroit Lions, which we almost let go, but we'll get to that in a moment. But as we usually save our interviews for Thursday, I decided that we're gonna do something a little bit different. This has kind of now become a tradition, if 2 years counts as a tradition. But during the Packers bye week, I always like to bring a fellow Packers fan on to kind of discuss the team, and so you just don't have to hear me talking about it for 40 minutes. So today I have a very good Packers fan with me. Zack, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate it. It's always nice to talk to a fellow Packers fan because I am just berated on here every single week from talking to Vikings fans and Bears fans and Lions fan. I gotta say, this is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, well, if that's what you're used to, I imagine so.
It's like, you know, you're just hanging out with terrible people all the time. It's it's nice to talk to one of your own kind. But Zack, I gotta ask, because the Packers fans that I've talked to in the past, they all have a different story. And what's your story on, like, how did you become a Packers fan? Are you from Wisconsin? Is it something that was kind of passed down, or was it something you just kind of picked up as you grew up?
Kinda. I actually, when I was like a little kid, I used to be a Cowboys fan. Like, I had a Michael Irvin jersey and helmet that, you know, like the fake helmets that you play around with. And then my dad was I don't want to say a big Packers fan, but he's a Packers fan. So they'd go on a trip every year to Lambeau. And when I was 10, I went to Lambeau and got to see Brett Favre run around against like a really bad Chargers team, I think.
Yeah.
And then just being at Lambeau, I mean, it kind of changed my allegiances at an early age and been a Packers fan since then.
That's phenomenal.
I'm originally from South Dakota, so everybody there is a Vikings fan. So maybe the nonconformist in me made me fall that way too.
It's funny. You're literally like the complete opposite story from me in that my dad was a diehard Cowboys fan and I became a Packers fan. So it's like literally the complete opposite. But yeah, Brett Favre has an effect on people that just kind of make you like, okay, I'm going to be a Packers fan.
Especially when you're 10 and he's running around like he's 10.
Yeah.
Just jumping and...
I mean, he made it look so much fun. You know what I mean? Like, and like it was like, oh man, like I like him a lot.
Yeah.
So all right, so
especially when he's playing a really bad team at Lambeau.
Yes, that is very true. It's always fun. I have to wonder, like, if they lost, if you would have been like, this is terrible. I don't like this team at one bit.
Maybe. Might have been like, why didn't we go to a Cowboys game? But...
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no. And then you would have just, like, spread that seed of just cowboyness, and it would just been awful. So you've been a Packers fan for some time. So you've kind of see them. So if you've been watching since Brett Favre, you've been seeing like the iteration of the Packers and the evolution of them because, I mean, we won a Super Bowl under Favre, which was great, and then that kind of, went the way it did. Of course, you have Aaron Rodgers. We win another Super Bowl. And then, like, these past few years, like, we have been so ridiculously close, like especially like 2014 season, in which you just cry. Yeah, I know. It's PTSD for everybody, and it's
That
so
was a tough
bad.
one.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really really bad. But I know, last season we have the Jordy Nelson injury, which kind of put a damper like on everything before it even started. But this season, I feel like us as Packer fans have like really high expectations going into the season. Like, what were you expecting? Like preseason, first game, like what were you thinking?
I mean, I didn't really. Well, I guess I wanted to see younger people on our team, especially in the defense, probably our secondary step up. Preseason, I never really have too much expectations about what's actually happening, but I think since 2010, every year before the season, I'm like, all right, this is the year we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're the best team. We're the best team. When something happens and we don't put up the expectations, our defense is bad or our offense is slow. So this year, I mean, just with what our promising defense was starting to do at the end of last year, having Jordy back, thinking, all right, we got all the pieces. Yeah, I still have pretty high expectations this year for the Packers, as I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they were picked like usually as if they weren't the favorite, like they were really, really up there, at least going deep into the playoffs. And it very similar to you. It was like, okay, we won the Super Bowl, and I was like, all right, we're just gonna go back again. You had the 15-1 season. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. And,
here it is,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Giants came along and stomped on my hopes and dreams, so that was good. And then you have like these heartbreaking.
Been a lot of that since then, actually.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like we keep having these heartbreaking losses, right? Like so you get destroyed by the 49ers the year after, and then like you just have.
Yeah,
like,
and I live in the Bay Area too, so like I went to that playoff game when Colin Kaepernick just ran all over us. I was sitting in the stands, and there was like this one huge long run that I remember.
Yep.
And like the first half, I'm pretty sure we were winning the first half, so I'm sitting in the stands.
He threw a pick.
Cocky. Yeah, and then just downhill after halftime. It was bad.
Yeah.
And then since then, it's been.
Yeah, and then it's just been like close one, like, losing at Lambeau at the wild card against the 49ers, the 2014 season, which we're talking about, and now it's gone. And then, like, even last season was like a heartbreaker, at the very end, playing with like our third, fourth, fifth string wide receivers. And
I could stomach last season because I think we did better than we probably should have. But
yeah. No, I totally agree.
It's still tough.
But like looking at this season, I mean, I personally was like, okay, like this is our year, because exactly what you said. We have Jordy back. We have this defense, which is supposed to get even better, and I have to say, like I was looking at the first Jaguars game, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be a tough game because I think the Jaguars team is definitely on a rise, and then of course they get shut out.
Yeah, they're up and coming.
Yeah, exactly. And then they get shut out by the Chargers the next week, which made me feel so wonderful. I was like, I am wrong about everything. So we put up. It's a close game. I expected that, and then week 2 happened.
Oh, week 2 was the worst. I was actually in Minneapolis with that for my friends too. So. Just talking so much crap before the game about how we're just going to come out and roll them. I mean, Teddy Two Gloves is gone. They don't have a chance.
Yep.
And then heartbreak.
Well, I mean, like, all right. So what I did is, because I had, of course, a Vikings fan on here right before week 2, and I made a bet with the guy. I flat out told him, listen, if the Vikings win the NFC North, I will buy a whatever Vikings jersey you want. I'll go on the subreddits and talk about how much I love the Vikings. You have to do the same for the Packers. And I felt really confident going into that bet. I can't say.
Their defense is for real, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the Vikings game, I was thinking, we're not good. We're not that good. I hyped myself up again. The Vikings are not that good. They don't have Teddy Two Gloves. AP, I mean, he didn't really do that much, and they still won. But then I watched this week's game, the Vikings game against Carolina, and I texted my friends back home, and I'm like, that team could win if they just played defense every possession. I mean, their defense is so good. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
So I feel better about that win or about that loss. But I don't know.
I mean,
it's going to be a weird division this year.
It is, and I mean, at least we're not the Bears, because there's always that. But you have, I feel like watching them defeat the Panthers like give me mixed emotions, because I was like, okay, I feel better because we put up a really good fight against them. But at the same time, I'm like, oh crap.
Should have won, probably.
Oh, absolutely. But then, oh crap, like they just beat one of the best teams in the NFC. This could be bad. Like that defense is, like you said, it's just it's ridiculous. And it was after that week 2 game that literally like every Aaron Rodgers hater just came out of the woods and was just like, hey, he's so bad. He sucks. He's lost it. He's out of his prime. He can't do it anymore. His footing is wrong. His fundamentals are wrong. And then Sunday happened. The first half Sunday happened. And I was just like, there's Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's the offense that I'm used to seeing.
I mean, it goes so many different ways with him because he can make it look like, I mean, when he doesn't hit receivers and there's drops and he's not moving the offense, it's still the same Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he just makes it look so smooth that, yeah, you could say, oh, he didn't plant his foot. But he makes so many of those throws when he doesn't plant his foot or doesn't have perfect fundamentals that it's, sure, you can say that. I mean, Devontae Adams drops the ball all the time.
Yep.
He hasn't had timing with Jordy yet. Randall Cobb has disappeared again.
Yep.
Jared Cook's not what we thought he would be. I mean, the offensive line is still adjusting without Josh Sitton.
Yep.
So I was kind of like really nervous after the game, but then I'm like, no, it's Aaron Rodgers. Like he's the best in the business.
Yeah.
And then this week, first half, I was like, yes, Then I thought about it, the Lions D. I just think I got to quit overreacting. As a Packers fan, I tend to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Either overreact that we're the greatest in the world, or overreact that, like I said, the sky's falling.
Yep.
So I don't think it's really either way yet at this point. But I do think that we haven't hit our stride, which is good. I think we'll get there.
Well, I think also, I mean, like you look at, it's such a catch-22 because you look at something like last season in which you have a fast start, you go 6-0, and I'm like looking at this, I'm like, man, we're like one of the best teams in the league. We're coming up to a Broncos game. I'm like, man, we're gonna beat the Broncos. This is gonna be great. And then we get curb stomped, and it's just bad, like really, really bad. And then we kind of just go in like a tailspin last year. And then this year,
that's how it's always been for us. Like when we won the Super Bowl, we started off really slow and won the last 6, and then we went 15-1 the next year and lost in the playoffs. So I'm actually kind of happy we're not. I think we get complacent when we're going into the playoffs with like this great record.
Yeah.
But I'd almost rather finish the season 10-6, 11-5 than 13-3, 14-2, 12-4, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because there's something for Aaron Rodgers to prove. I honestly believe when he has something to prove, he goes out there and he does it. I just wish he would keep that mentality all the time.
Yeah, well, of course. And like, it's as soon as you get hot in December, like that's like the team, because you look at the Giants, literally both years that they won the Super Bowl. Even look at us when we won the Super Bowl. It's like you got hot really, really late, and then you just won out, and that's it. So that's like, yeah. And that, I mean, I'm hoping for, similar results this year. But like, what kind of stands out to you about this team? Because again, first half offense looks fantastic. Second half, though I don't want to throw Mike McCarthy under the bus, it was so super conservative, and it was like run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. And it was so bad, the fact that they almost caught up.
I was sitting there watching the game, like towards the end of the game, saying, just watch, when they were down by however many points, I don't even remember now. But I was like, just watch, we're going to go 3 and out, they're going to get the ball, they're going to tie it up. McCarthy's either going to just kneel it, and we're going to lose the flip, and they're going to score a touchdown, we're going to lose somehow.
Yep.
But, I mean, what stands out this year to me is, like, I don't even really care about the offense because, like I said, they're going to hit their stride. We have all the pieces. I think, it's just early in the season, but once we get everything down, we got timing down, they're going to put up points.
Yeah.
It's the defense that I'm like, okay, something's got to give here. Our run defense, finally, I think it's
looks
the first
fantastic.
Run defense we've had where we've had a run defense at all under Dom Capers. And I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on the secondary. I know we've had a ton of injuries. Like Burnett was out, Shields was out,
Matthews.
But Demarius Randall looks just beat on every play. It seems like every big play. It's just like, come on, dude.
Yep. And that's the second week in a row.
Expectations for him. Yeah, he looked good against the Jags, but like you said, looking at the Jags the next 2 weeks, I don't know how much that means anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's rough because I like Randall. I like Rollins and I like Randall. And I know there's a lot of high expectations for these guys. And like you said, this run defense, though, like as they're stuffing the lines, they're stuffing AP. I'm like, whoa. Like, is this finally like
yeah,
the run defense that we've been promised? Because that has been like the biggest issue on this defense for such a long time is that people
yeah.
run all over us. And now it's like, okay, we got that fixed. Kenny Clark looks like, he's still a rookie, but when
The
he's
linebackers look good. Fackrell, Martinez.
oh, Martinez looks fantastic. I
Jake
love
Ryan.
him. Yep.
Yeah.
Jake Ryan, who I have to say, like, Jake Ryan really reminds me of like the movie Big with Tom Hanks. Like, I feel like he just like woke up and was like, I want to be big, because like every time he like announces his name on Sunday Night Football, he's like, I'm Jake Ryan. Like, he just yells at like he just doesn't have control over his like voice or hormones. I love the guy, but like it's the only thing I can think of. Watch the next time they introduce him. He's like, I'm Jake Ryan. It's absolutely.
I love to miss that.
It's absolutely
I will look
fantastic.
for it, though.
It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, and I think, listen, not having Shields on that secondary is a big deal because you don't have any help for Randall.
Yeah.
He's got burnt by 2 wide receivers in a row. If they're able to, and I have to say, I'm a little worried about Shields too, because the guy is on his 4th concussion.
Fourth concussion. Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm kind of all aboard the concussion safety train.
Yes.
Like before, I was kind of like, "Come on, it's football," a couple years ago. But now I'm like, "Yeah, it's just football, dude. Like,
Yeah.
take care of yourself."
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the other thing is, like, when Shields is out there, Demarius Randall has help over the top a lot more because the safeties are going to be cheating that way.
Yep.
Because they know he's not Sam Shields.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he doesn't come back, if he doesn't get better, if we don't get better on our corners, then it could be a rough year. I think we missed a lot of interceptions in the second half of that game, which
Yes.
might have changed the narrative a little. And I guess that's kind of the thing too. If we're going to be putting up points and we have a run defense, then our secondary and our defense can be a lot more opportunistic.
Yeah.
And we'll get a couple bounces, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If we can get ahead by 10, 14 points and then kind of coast from there and hope Mike McCarthy doesn't, kind of crap the bed again. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with it, I guess.
Yeah, and it's funny because like the team I always look at, and I know I shouldn't be comparing it, is like the Patriots. Because like I gotta say, like, I am just in awe of the Patriots and Bill Belichick because he literally takes 3rd-string running backs.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Like
Jacoby
who?
Brissett.
And makes it
Yeah.
look like a well-functioning offense. And I feel like he literally just like goes out on Craigslist and is like looking for a football player and is like, okay, I got one for really, really cheap. Let's go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, at any position too. I guess it's not just quarterback, it's
Yeah.
not just running back. He can take any linebacker, just put him in and gets it done.
It's
We were having an argument, me and my friends, like, would Tom Brady be Tom Brady if he wasn't under Bill Belichick? Like, now it kind of makes you think, like,
Yep.
we revere Tom Brady, but is it Tom Brady?
Yep.
Or is it just the system he's been in?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that was the talk after Garoppolo. Like, he pulled off. Like that game that he got hurt in. Like, he was I think 3 TDs in or something like that. He was rocking it,
Yeah.
and he was looking so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think
Without
that's,
Gronk.
Yeah, without Gronk, and I think that is a very valid question of, is it the player or is it the play calling? Is it the schemes? Is it the coaching? And I know, I think that's a good measure. I think the thing that upsets me the most about McCarthy is that run pass mentality. Like that, listen, that NFC Championship game, so many things went wrong. I'm not putting that all on McCarthy. Like, and it's just these little tiny things that if one thing changes, we win the game. But
Yeah.
that conservative.
Oh, you can put a lot of that on McCarthy. I think he would even admit that. Like, yeah, sure, you had the kickoff and what have you, but
yeah,
just to completely flip the script from everything that's been going your way in the game, because I don't know, that's your mantra. I don't know. That game was a low time for me.
Yeah,
It was a dark time.
trust me.
I assume.
I think it was a bad time for all of us. It just wasn't good. So we're heading into a bye though this week. And I hate week 4 buys, but it seemed to have come at a good time. Our defense can actually heal up a bit, and hopefully they'll
Yep.
be kind of ready to go. But as like the season progresses, I mean, I have high hopes for the team. I mean, do you see us winning the North, or do you see us like making playoffs? Kind of what's your stance on that?
Yeah, I still do. I mean, I think prior to Teddy Bridgewater getting hurt, Vegas had us winning every game except that game at Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I guess I underestimated the Vikings defense because, I mean, yeah, they're really good, but we have Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think they just caught us at the right time when we aren't where we're supposed to be. We just aren't in the fold of the season yet. And I think when they come back to Lambeau, it's going to be a different story. We're going to be ready. We're going to hopefully have all our pieces back. And I think it'll be, like I said, I mean, we were in that game. We were marching and just didn't get it done. So I think it'll flip the script a little bit at Lambeau. And we have the easiest schedule. Not that the Vikings don't too, because we play the same opponents, but the schedule is just so easy. And even if we don't win the North, it's us two in the playoffs. I don't see the Vikings not getting the wild card, and I don't see us not getting the wild card.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the NFC North's the NFC North, but I think everybody has higher aspirations for this season than maybe years past.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And speaking of the Vikings, I think they caught some people off guard, definitely. Like, I think definitely myself, I definitely underestimated that defense and how good that defense could really be. Do you see? Yeah, exactly. Do you see them being, like our biggest rival? I mean, because listen, everybody always talks about the Bears-Packers, and as I've been saying for years now, like, yes, I understand the history, oldest rivalry in NFL, yes, but that rivalry hasn't been relevant.
Yeah, I mean, since I've been a Packers fan, like I said, I'm from the west side of Minnesota, so everybody there's Vikings fans. So to me, it's always been Packers-Vikings.
Yeah.
And I think I always kind of thought, oh, that's because I'm from that region, but I don't really see where the Bears have ever been a rival to us, except maybe when we played them in the NFC Championship game that one year.
Yep.
But, I mean, you're talking Favre when he went to the Vikings versus us. You're talking Greg Jennings went there. We have always had that with the Vikings, and I think they've probably played us more competitively a lot more than the Bears have in the last 20 years even.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean,
I
get the history, like you said. I get the history, Bears, Packers, but to me it's always been Vikings, Packers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because, like I said, my friends are Vikings fans, so
you kind of grew
more
up in
personal rivalry.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Zach, this has been great. I have one final question for you, and I ask all my guests, and it'll be interesting to hear from a fellow Packers fan. When it comes to football and when it comes to the Packers, do you find that you're superstitious?
I mean, yes and no. I feel like every time I try to cling on to a superstition, it fails miserably, so I have to move on to another one.
Okay.
But that could just because I'm used to heartbreak over the last few years. But I have socks. I have to sit on a certain. I'll only drink out of my left hand when I drink.
Oh man.
That's about it. So.
All right, so socks and left hand drinking. You know what? That is super duper specific. But if it works, it works.
I wish it worked better. I don't know. That it really does.
Well, you got to think back, like the NFC Championship game. Like, did you accidentally take a sip out of your right hand? I
must have. It must have been something. I can't think of any other explanation how that would just be.
I mean, Zach,
such an abomination.
I've been looking for the past 2 years of somebody to blame. If you could be the scapegoat for the entire Packers organization,
I'll be the scapegoat.
like if you want to take one for the team, that'd be great.
Fine, put it on me. It's all me.
There you go.
I think during that game, actually, I have another thing, too, is if you get overly cocky, I mean, it's just the karma thing. You can't get too confident. But that game, I mean, I just did not see a way to lose it. And my roommate at the time was just like, what if, and he said this to me right as things started to turn. He's like, what if the Seahawks come back and win this game? And I'm like, no way. There's just no way.
Shut up.
It's not even possible. So many things would have to happen. And then it happened, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Why would you say that to me, dude? Why would you say that to me?
Yep. And that's when you get a new roommate, just like that.
Yeah, no, he's gone now. Trust me.
Yeah,
He's gone.
good. Obviously, that was the right thing to do. You know what, Zach? Don't you take the blame. It was obviously your nameless roommate who was obviously the
there's
problem.
Our scapegoat. That's the scapegoat.
We
right there.
found him, boys. Pack it up. Fantastic. Well, Zach, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I usually say good luck with the rest of the season, but not the upcoming games. But since you're actually a Packers fan, I hope that we are celebrating by the end of the season.
Yeah. Good luck to all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Vikings fan.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, no, they don't need luck. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So, all right, Zach, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, no problem. Thanks. Have a
Catch you
good
later, bud. Bye. That was Zack, a fellow Packers fan. Always nice to talk to one of your own. It's so interesting to always get like kind of another perspective. If like I'm crazy, if I'm just thinking one thing about McCarthy or Rodgers or anything like that, and to see that shared with another Packers fan is always awesome. Well, you would think since it's a bye week, I would have less to do, but that is actually not the case at all. This week, besides obviously the Packers interview, which you just saw, we're still going to be doing our Thursday interview. However, we don't have a game on Sunday. Well, who are we going to bring back? I am very excited that we are going to be bringing back Brandon Perna from last season. Brandon is a diehard Broncos fan, and he was voted in as the best guest I had last year. By far, one of the biggest ratings we had for this show. And we just tore the house down last year. I'm so excited to be bringing him back. That will be up on SoundCloud and iTunes on Thursday. Please check that out. If you haven't listened to last year's episode, go back and find that. It's on SoundCloud. It's on iTunes. It is worth an hour of your time. It was a fantastic, fantastic episode. So go back and check that. So that'll be on Thursday. Also, to kind of fill you in a little bit on my fantasy woes, so yeah, I went 1 for 5 last week, so that really wasn't so good. And as we are taping right now on Monday night, I'm in 3 really, really close games. So I could be going 3 for 5, or I could be going 0 for 5. It completely depends on Brandon Cooks tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much for watching. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com. That's TomGrossi Comedy, or at Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter. Check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes. Of course, every Tuesday we're also having our YouTube episode. Another big shout out to Zack for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. Always nice to have a fellow Packers fan on. I will see you on Thursday with Brandon Perna. And as always, go Pack Go.